Well, DBR here. Welcome to Amityville Horror. Thank you for visiting. I'm Clint.
I'm Don.
And today we are joined with a very special guest,
No.
Peter Anthony.
Very, very, very special guest.
Very, very, very special guest. I'm sorry I messed that up. Mr. Peter Anthony. Man,
Hey.
how's it going?
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for making time for me on Sunday for this. I appreciate it.
No.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you for making
Thank you
time for us. Yeah. So it's like, you're a pretty busy dude right now, aren't you?
Yeah, man. Did the movies, like I said, I was telling you guys earlier, shot the Vengeance 2, which was kind of a secret. If you guys watched Vengeance 1, a lot of people thought my character was dead, but he's actually alive, at least for a little while. And then Fall of Camp Blood, and still doing the Roseblood thing and promoting and doing perks. So yeah, blessed and busy at the same time.
Oh man, I got to tell you, like here, like we're super like Friday the 13th fans, and I mean, you might be a bigger Friday the 13th fan than what Don is, and he's one of the biggest fans that I know.
Yeah,
but
he's gonna show his shit off. I got one mask back here signed by Kane Hodder, and he's like, here's my stuff that's in a case and everything. Like, come on, really? And you deserve it, man. I mean, everything that you have done.
And I've taken a deep dive into fan films and watched a whole bunch of them, and like we even did a fan film frenzy episode where we talked about like 4 or 5 different fan films, like just in an episode for the podcast, which is really cool. And it was a lot of fun. You know, Vengeance is one of my favorites out of all the ones that I've seen. And but that's not to discount any of the other ones. Roseblood was also something that we talked about, and that is a super awesome flick. And I have to admit that I missed a bunch of shit the first time I watched it through, and then I was catching up on some of the interviews that you did, so I kind of cheated and got some of the secret things that happened there, and all the nods and the Easter eggs, and I went back and I watched it again. I was like, holy fuck, this thing is awesome.
If I may, it's good that you said that, because there's people that actually and I don't care, everyone's got opinions, right? That like knock the film, or especially the ending, the twist ending there. And then they're like, you know what, dude, I had this film at like a 5, and then I went back and watched it, and it's like an 8, 9, whatever, higher. And I'm like, yeah, that's purposely how I wrote it. I knew I would take heat that Jason wasn't in it for until like the last third. And I wanted to have replayability, that when you went back, oh shit, that's what happened. And that's what. So did you catch on that Michael was always in the film, that whole thing?
Well, I did eventually catch on to that. It wasn't clear to me the first time I watched it, but but when I went back through the second time, I was like, son of a bitch, he is.
Yeah.
How about the Duke's phone call?
Yeah.
The Duke's phone call.
I was going to bring it up.
Go ahead.
So that was a nod to part 8, wasn't it?
Was it part?
The boxing reference?
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically his son is Julius from part 8 that gets his head punched off.
I don't want to spoil any of that. I want people to go watch that. Go watch this shit.
That's okay. Like spoiler free?
No, okay. We're not. Okay, first of all, we're not. We're explicit. So sorry if we offend anyone. We are not spoiler free, because if you haven't watched these movies, as much as we promoted them on our group, it's your loss. This man is a genius. Like I put on our group when I got this interview, I said the man, the myth, the legend, because you are at this stage in the game. You have basically 4 Friday fan films that are going to be coming out, or that are, you have Vengeance, you have Roseblood, you have Fall of Camp Blood, and you have Vengeance 2 Bloodlines.
Correct.
And, I love the continuity with it too, because Vengeance is after part 6.
Yep.
And then Roseblood is a continuation of 7, which honestly, that to me, after watching 7 and then watching Roseblood, I love the fact that you mentioned it in a previous interview, with the MPAA completely butchering part 7. You kind of got the real, part 7.5. That's how I look at it. In fact, it's funny because whenever I post this on YouTube, go back and look at it, because you're a star in our intro video. You getting your eye ripped out. Spoiler alert.
That's right. Thanks.
So and again, you didn't have anything like that in part 7. Which is a shame, because it had so many great ideas, and it was Kane Hodder's first, appearance as Jason. So I was like, man, why wouldn't you? And again, they didn't know what they had. It was like Kane Hodder, it's his first time. CJ Graham did a great job as Jason in part 6. And and actually, speaking of that, I want to shout out 2 people before we get too deep into this: Steve Dash and Roger Allen Perks, because without Roger, Fall Camp Blood would have never happened. And I'm glad that he contributed like he did, because that movie is amazing, and it needs to be seen. And I love everything that you've done with this franchise.
Thanks,
and for our first question, my first question is, were you ever intimidated by taking this franchise on? I mean, it's Friday the 13th. I mean, it's synonymous with horror.
Yeah. Kind of a cocky asshole, so usually not intimidated by most things, but I definitely was at certain points. So like, so as far as Vengeance, part of our group, me, Jason, and Jules Valenti, was we had to go get the stars. So, you know, I knew Steve Dash from the conventions. So like I'd seen him so many times that he would recognize me. And I called them and, hey man, this is what we got going on. And then we got CJ, so that kind of like, and then Tom McLaughlin, so you kind of got used to that. And I'm really good friends with Kane. I mean, we go and eat and have drinks together and so on. We talk all the time and so on and so forth. So I kind of got past that shock value. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know, dude. I don't know how to direct. I've never went to class. I don't know how to turn on the camera. I still don't. I have zero idea, but I'm like, fuck it, we're doing it. And then when we got Lar and we got Terry and we got Kevin, and then we're all there and they're sitting in the room and they're asking you, what's the motivation and what am I supposed to do? And it like hit me. I'm like, holy shit.
It must have
like,
been surreal.
This is fucking my dream,
myself.
part 7. Like, here they are in front of me and they're asking me how to play their own fucking characters. And I was like, and then they did a couple takes and we did a timeout. And I tell the story all the time, you might have heard it. And they open the door and everyone's outside watching the monitors. And I go, can you fucking believe this shit? Yeah. And then I close the door. I'm like, okay, guys, we're ready for take 2, you know? So at that moment, I was so scared that they were going to see that I didn't really know the ins and outs of directing. But I think whatever I lacked there, I gained in passion. So because they say, you know, we took the part because you're so passionate about it. I'm like, good. That's what I want. I don't want to fuck this up. That's the other thing. I don't want to fuck up the canon for everybody, you know. But I think the strongest part of our movie is that opening with Terry and Laura. I thought they both brought it.
Oh my god, dude! I mean, it blew my mind. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Laura Park Lincoln and Terry Kaiser. Obviously, I knew that because I've seen
with everything that was in that movie. Somehow that opening scene was still the highlight. I mean, and I think that just speaks so highly of how they are on screen together. And
yeah, dude, you should have been there. So they come into the one room. We gave them their own room with, I don't know if you saw it, with their own director, their own actors chairs that I had made.
Okay.
Yeah, like pink for Lar and black for Terry, had their names on it. And they're like,
all
holy
right.
shit, you know? So, and I, you know, coming in and out, I'm like, hey, 30 minutes, you guys think you'd be good and everything. So I sat in there at one point. I've never seen anything like that in my life. So like, she's sitting there reading and he's like over there. They're not looking at each other. And she's like doing her own lines and he's not on pace with her. He's doing his lines his way. And at some point, it was like a fucking symphony. It was kind of like a jazz band, blues and stuff. So all of a sudden she did a line and then he did the next one. Now he's not looking at her. He's over there. Yeah. And then she does it. He does it. Then they turn and then they do it at 3, 6, 9, 10. Hey, change this. Boom, boom, boom. And you just saw magic.
Just came together
right in front of him. He's the one, Terry, that came to me and he goes, Peter. He's like, I'm looking at this line right here. And he goes, I think I should yell Tina. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, let me see it. And he's like, Tina. And she falls in the chair and it sets the next tone. So he did. I'm so excited. He did the fucking take like 4 times at like a 5. But once I told him he could do the yell.
Oh, it was 11.
He was all in.
Genius of him. He took the beginning of his acting to a 1. So now what do you got there, Tina? And he went do. You never let you out of here. Tina. He did that. Crescendo, right there on that one
that
take.
crescendo of hitting
dude,
going to your high. Yep.
I had like goosebumps. And then if you notice that scene, it took me months. Every single thing on that wall is what's in the wall in 7.
Yes.
Yeah. The matchbook, the 10 spike, the black phone from 1980, whatever, the 20th century train, all the awards, everything was there. I showed them that and they were like blown away.
Yeah, you showed us that and we were blown away. So don't worry.
You have a collector's eye. I mean, and a fan's attention to detail. So I mean, that doesn't shock me, man. It was all there.
Yeah,
it was. And it's so funny because you know, like you're a fan like we are, and you know, with what you grew up on, like what I grew up on, you know, with Up All Night on USA, and then you know Joe Bob Briggs. You know, it's hilarious because I got my first horror taste from Joe Bob at Night of the Living Dead when he was on Monster Vision on TNT.
Monster Vision.
And, you know, it kind of drugged me into it. And then Up All Night, you know, Rhonda Shear, you know, it was funny because as you, in your interviews, as you talk about it, you know, part 8 was always on USA Up All Night. I was like, if you're going to show them, can you, and I love part 8, but can you show like part like 6 or 7?
Yeah.
And then USA, of course, was like, well, why don't we show this on Sunday afternoon?
Yeah.
Sign me up. I'll watch an edited version of part 7. I'll watch an edited version of part 8 at 3:00 in the afternoon. But I just think it's funny how, you know, you're a fan just like we are, and you rooted for Jason, and you know, with your homemade mask on, you know, rooting for Jason.
That's what people. I never understood. Like until I was like 12 or 13, I guess I realized I was different because I used to root for Cobra, I used to root for Godzilla, and I used to root for fucking Jason.
Yeah.
And then I remember being in school, and they're like, "Well, you know, Jason's the bad guy." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Well, he's the bad." I'm like, "Fuck, I want him to win. Like, I want Godzilla to win. I want Cobra. I've always wanted the bad guy to win. Always. And I guess that makes me different. But fuck it.
Yeah, that just makes you awesome."
At the same clip, you're not alone, because we know a guy up in Canada. His name's Ryan, and he said that one of the things that made him cry the most as a kid was seeing Godzilla fall into a volcano, and like the sound that he made going in there. He said that was my Bambi.
That was Godzilla 1985.
There you go.
Exactly.
You go.
Verbatim. He said that was my Bambi. I was like, damn, dude, like you're scarred.
I'll give you another one. In 2003. When they redid the series of Godzillas, and they made them even better, and they did Godzilla vs. Destroyer, and at the end he overheats and melts and dies, and I was like in my 30s, I was like, motherfucker,
I got you. Yeah.
Can't do that to me. No, that's gonna tug my heartstrings. Can't do that. Cannot do that.
So I mean, to me, you must be like an uber fan to put together a script like that with Roseblood. I mean, from what I've been learning, like you drew inspiration from all over the place with that, like the research facility you pulled from part 10, you know, the oh my god, and I'm drawing a blank now, but and that thing was plagued with issues like the whole way through it, like with what was it, the one costume piece going missing and shipping from Brazil, and you managed to overnight the original from the artist. Was that how that worked?
So the whole costume, Marcio Charlie from Horror Costume Designs, literally the best guy in the business right now.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I love the guy, but he waited till like 3 days out to send it from Brazil. And I'm like, man, I paid him like months and months before. And I was like, man, you know, we need it. And he's like, yeah, no problem. So he sent it. In Brazil, they don't give a shit. So somebody punched a hole in the box and stole the hood. Man, they could have stole the mask or the chain or any other part and it would have been fine. But in my original version, he comes out of the lake with no mask, kills the entire fast team with no mask, and then grabs it. So we couldn't do that. Yeah. So now we had to write that scene in on the outside where Anson Days and Joe Wilson, the guy, the walkie guy, to bring the mask back. That was on the fly, wrote it on a paper. Bring it back outside so that he can have it coming in. And that hood underneath is the Vengeance hood. That's why it's an error. People see it. He has ears in the beginning.
I was gonna bring it up. I was like, he has ears. What the fuck? What?
Because of the hood, we were fucked, you know.
But if you see again, that's our attention to detail. It's like he's got ears. I was gonna bring it up, but I wasn't gonna bring it up.
I'm glad you saw, because I missed it.
I wasn't gonna call. I think because Peter would be like, "Shut the fuck up." That was.
No, I admit things. So the director of photography, he's he's awesome, Cody Newton, but he's not a big Friday fan. He's like, no one's even gonna know. It's like, oh, you fucking kidding me? Me and Brooks were like, people will notice everything, every second, all the time. Yeah. Back to if I could, on Clint, bringing in the different parts. So part X was the Camp Crystal Lake Research Facility. I figured, like, where's Jason gonna be? Like, it can't be like Freddy vs. Jason where Jason walks 3 fucking states. Like, that's the stupidest thing ever. So how could he be close to where he is? Well, the research facility was on the lake. Okay, but why would they want to grab him? Well, in 10, they said they wanted to research him for his regeneration capabilities. Mm-hmm. Well, how would they catch him? Well, in 10, in the beginning, he was in a suit, and we had the suit on the wall. That was $2,000. We had those things 3D printed. and everything made for him to fit in the suit. I gave the suit to Jason Brooks, and then like, well, how's he going to get his weapons? Well, the fast team is cocky assholes. We'll do like a NECA setup, like 7, and have them be cocky and be like, oh, he can never do anything. So I tried to like implement, and then the Duke from 9. Remember when he handcuffs him in 9? He's like, remember me? I'm like, what the fuck? What's that from? So now I'm like, fuck it, I'm throwing it in. So that's why when the Joe gets his face ripped off, you remember me, you're gonna remember me. That's kind of like how I wanted to tie that in. Then Julius with the boxing, bro, I'll go real deep. When the doctor's shaking the magic 8-ball, and he goes, no one gets this. And he goes, what's wrong? He goes, oh, my sister's gonna marry this FBI agent Mahoney. In part 9, when Jason blows up, the camera goes POV to somebody's view, and he's walking. Great job, Mahoney. Shakes his hand and
get the fuck out.
Yeah, no,
I ain't fucking around up in here.
He acts like nobody sees that. I was gonna ask you. I was like, is that part 9?
Say again.
I was gonna ask you, like, I'm seeing. I'm like, Mahoney. I'm like, that's part 9 when he blows up, because they say nice job. I
gotta go back again.
Dude, there's more. So when they're trading the garbage pail kids, which we all had back in the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he goes, I'll trade you my Melton Milton for your hot rod. Well, Melton Milton's card is someone's face being pulled off with goose, just like the janitor.
Yeah.
And hot rod, Kelly Ellison just got a hot rod from Roddy Piper on her arm.
Yes.
I ain't fucking around. So I snuck that in there too.
God, stop that shit. I got the Mahoney thing, but now you're going real deep dive. That's and that's the kind of shit that we want. Like, and that just proves that, you know, you're more of a fan than probably a lot of the fans are. And it's a breath of fresh air to know, especially with these fan films, like you just care about this. It's a passion project, and I love it, man. You know, and that's why I just wanted you on here so bad, because, and Clint's already said it, I am one of the biggest Friday the 13th fans. I mean, you know, I wear this shirt when I go to conventions.
What's your guys' favorite Fridays?
Part 6.
Oh,
I love part 6.
A lot of people were disappointed to find out mine's part 2. But I love 2.
Honestly, there's not a bad one. I mean,
Amy Steele is one of my favorites.
She's when you look at everyone voting, mine's 4. When you look at everyone voting, it's probably 60% 6 and 40% 4. I'm number 1, and then I have it 4, 6, 2. So I have 2 up there too.
Yeah, I love 6 just because it was something different. It had that comedic aspect to it. You know, gets shot with a paintball, and he's like, "What the fuck, really?" Like, now I'm gonna have that for the rest of the movie. And you know, and CJ was great as Jason. You know, and I wish, I've read the stories. You know, he would like to come back and everything, but you know, his schedule wouldn't let him do it. And the guy's amazing. I mean, he's great as Elias. And I'm just like, man, this is.
Dude, I was just on set with him 2.5 weeks ago, Vengeance 2, 3 weeks. And there was a part where everybody went, first of all, he took his shirt off. The guy's in phenomenal fucking shape. He's 66, so something like that, 67. He's in phenomenal shape. And then there was a scene where we're outside shooting and everybody went in for a break. And he didn't go in for a break. And he's in costume. And he was sitting on a log, and the smoke machine was kicking out smoke, and the light was coming off this church on him. And he's just sitting there. And I was like, I'm gonna sit down next to him. So I went and sat down next to him. And man, we just talked to him. First of all, he's like, I was in the Army. He goes, it's freezing out. He's like, you never go back warm to come back cold, because it's going to be worse than just staying in the cold.
That is very true.
Yeah. So we just stayed on a log for 20 minutes and just talked about Friday the 13th and life and everything. And my buddy got a picture of it, which will come out eventually, which is a long shot of us on a log with him in costume and me looking at him with the smoke coming off of a church in there. I'm like, man, that is like, I can't believe I'm fucking here right now.
That's fucking cover art.
Fan's
right
dream.
That's fucking cover art.
Yeah. And he's a huge ball buster, CJ, all the time too.
Sure.
So, because I used to bodybuild, so now I'm a fat piece of shit. So now
Oh,
like
God.
he sees me, he's like, look at those fucking arms, not what they used to be, you know. He's always busting my balls.
I was gonna say with Fall of Cam Blood, and I told Clint this as we were building up to the interview. I'm like, I've never seen somebody look more intimidating in a Carhartt jacket than you, motherfucker. Like, you put it on, I was like, that he's gonna go kill somebody. He's gonna go fuck somebody's day up.
I'm in sales, so I had to ask my boss, like, is it okay if I grow this grizzly beard thing out?
I'm disappointed. If anything in this interview, I'm disappointed. You don't have that bushy ass beard. I was like, man, I hope he comes on. He's just rugged as fuck.
Yeah, I had to keep it somewhat neat, you know.
It was great, man. I was like, damn.
But the guy Bailey, the guy who gets killed by the hammer, he had a full bushy beard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He had the lumberjack one going.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
But it wasn't like yours. It was like, the combination of the Carhartt and the beard was like, I am terrified of this motherfucker. I don't even care about Jason. Like this motherfucker just, and I'm watching you, and it was hilarious because, as you're gearing up, I'm like, all right, he's got, this sharp ass Bowie knife. And then you're like, well, let me shove this fucking 357 Magnum down the back of my pants. I'm like, God damn.
No safety.
I'm like, fuck, like,
yeah.
Fuck the knife, fuck he's got a 357 down his pants. Like, that's gangster as fuck.
Yeah. And then the semi cheesy over the top alpha final chapter, motherfucker. And then the knife. That was my idea. Yeah.
So everything about this movie it was so great, just because, and I'm not going to spoil the ending because everybody needs to go see this.
You do need to see it. We shared it on the page. We want people to go look at it.
We want people to go see it. So we're not going to spoil anything with the ending. But just to know how involved you are. And it was really cool because, you have your logo come up and it's like starring Peter Anthony. I'm like, well, first of all, that motherfucker, he just had to get first on the credits. He just had to. And then after watching, I'm like, oh shit, this is cool. And you're Rob Dyer's brother. I'm like, that's fucking like, of course you're going to be main star.
And I play a good guy for once.
Yeah. How about that?
But you're still an asshole.
Yeah, for sure. But for the right reasons, I guess. Right.
I love In Vengeance. Like, and again, which is really cool. How you brought up your character is maybe not dead, maybe dead, just like when you're face to face with Jason and, it shows that close up of your face. I'm like, that motherfucker ain't dead. I know he ain't dead. I'm like, I know he's going to be somewhere in Vengeance too, in Bloodlines. Yeah. And just, you're like right down the middle. You can play a asshole and you can play an asshole.
Yeah.
Quote, air quotes, good guy.
Yeah. It's funny because Jeremy Brown, the director, I got out there, it was all of us prisoners, and I'm like, how do you want me to play this? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, am I like wrongfully imprisoned? Am I a dick? Like, he's like, just be a cocky asshole. Like, I'm like, woke up like that this morning, bro. We're fucking good.
Your range is great. I mean, we can't say enough.
How long have you been acting?
You, man.
Vengeance 1 was my first time ever acting.
Get the fuck out of here.
Was that 4
no,
years?
because you said you were on what's your Amazon movies? Because you said you had Amazon movies, right?
Those were after.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. They're not, no offense, but they're not. I don't tell nobody,
All
It was a buddy of mine. He's like, hey, be a gangster in this one. Oh, one of them, I'm a Russian mafia guy and I cut off a guy's finger. I'll send you those.
Cool.
What's funny? He's a Russian mafia, but his nickname is the Mad Cuban, which is fucking hilarious.
Totally not even close.
It's like, did you guys do your homework? No. Did you look at IMDb? No, I did. So I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that kind of surprises me that you're so early in acting, because I mean, dude, you're killing it. I mean, like
crushing it.
I don't know if it was the intention for you to be the focal point of the Fall of Camp Blood, but I mean, for me, you totally were. I mean, the kids that were there, that was secondary to me. I was focused on your character. I was following it the whole way through. I mean, and your presence on screen was just fucking fantastic. I mean, the bar scene was one of the greatest things. That made me think. I was like, have you ever like considered like professional wrestling or something like that? Because
I'm
it's
too hurt. Yeah, I'm too hurt.
Too much.
You guys know I was hurt during that scene, right? You know the whole story.
No, we don't know the whole story. So please indulge us.
I mean, I know you had an issue a while back with like your shoulder and your bicep, and you had to have some reconstructive stuff done.
So in that scene, I got to grab a bottle, and Jonathan Ivey is an MMA fighter with 200 fights. That's who that guy is. He's no joke.
Oh shit!
Holy shit! He fought Ken Shamrock. Everybody's known as the leg lock monster.
Oh man!
Fuck.
So he's mad cool. So I have to grab the bottle and swing it, and then like stop an inch from his face. The reason why I have to grab a real bottle is if you put a fake bottle there and you go to grab it, you're just gonna pull the handle.
It'll snap off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to grab the real bottle. Now, don't get me wrong. I used to lift real heavy, and I used to fight, and it just all this wear and tear on my body. So it was just like kind of the last straw. So I grabbed the bottle and I swung it and I stopped it right there. One take. He goes, all right, one more. Do a take. Boom. Boom. And nobody knows. I only know, and I have the jacket on, the Carhartt. So I just put the bottle down, and when I get really, really hurt, like I get quiet. Yeah. So, and I looked at the director, I go, hey, shoulder's fucked. And he goes, what do you mean? He doesn't know, he doesn't understand. I'm like, my shoulder is not on my body right now. I'm like, I don't know what you want to do. And he's like, well, let's try. So then everyone's like, well, you want to stop? Or I'm like, no, dude, John Ivy drove 11 hours. They paid the bar to shut down. I'm like, I already know it's surgery. Like, we're fucked. Yeah. So let's keep going. So if you look at that scene when I hit him with the bottle, dude, it's a Will Smith smack thing. I just barely go like that. I can't go up here. My shoulder's not even attached anymore. And then that fight scene, we probably did it 5-10 times. And there's another scene they didn't show where I take my jacket off. I can't get my jacket off. And then I throw that punch. We had to do that 3 times. My shoulder was out. So you have a rotator cuff.
Oh yeah.
There's 4. I tore 1, 2, 3 off.
Your labrum probably gone too.
My bicep and it rolled down. And then because I kept winging it, I pulled my trap because it was like the last thing holding, and did all that, came home, had surgery. And I don't know if you can even see the scar, but they had to
I don't want to see your fucking arm. Your arm is as big as
is that it on the top?
They had to cut my chest off right there, all the way inside the shoulder.
Okay.
Man, I came back 3 months later in the barn scene. I'm supposed to wait a year, the doctor said, and got that little stunt. We had to get the movie done.
Yeah.
So that was it.
Man. Ladies and gentlemen, this motherfucker is the real Bionic Man.
I am now. 39 surgeries, I think.
Yeah. And now cheating again, I listened to another interview. Didn't the doctors tell you that you basically could only hope for about 60% recovery?
Yeah.
Like that much movement?
He's the head of UConn for sports. Mm-hmm. So he goes, basically what you did is like you only see in a car accident when someone's arms like behind their head. And I was like, he's like, you'll never do this, you'll never do that, you'd never be able to reach behind your head. And 60% chance you'll be 100%, and probably 30% chance you'll tear them all again. So I was like, fuck that. So then I went online and I found all these tendon powders and collagen, and I bought gun machines to drill in to do scar tissue, and I bought these electrical stim machines, and I iced it 8 times a day, did everything you could. And I remember going back like 2 months later, and I was like, hey, what's up, bro? What's going on?
Oh God, I was going to ask him to do it, but I'll be like, I was so glad he did it. I'm like, if I ask him to do it and he tears his shit, I'm going to be the biggest dickhead on the internet.
So I got to get a picture next time I go. So on his wall, he has all kinds of elite athletes that got hurt that he fixed that went on to the pros and wrote letters, thank you. Yeah. So my fucking poster's on there for vengeance. And I wrote him, thanks for fixing me on the wall. Yeah.
Should be on the front of the fucking thing. Like, that's great. Dude, you told me, bam. Like like I said, I was even going to be like, hey,
the doctor needs a brochure.
Can you show that? And then he's going to be like, oh shit. And then the interview goes off like, well, I am the biggest asshole on the internet. I just broke Peter Anthony. Yeah. Fuck me running.
So that was the issue there. So that stopped us from shooting a lot, for a while. Mm-hmm.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, because you had to have at least a little bit of downtime. I mean, like the doctor told you, how fucking long did he tell you?
Said a year. Right?
I was in the sling 8 weeks or some shit.
Okay.
And then a month later, I was in that scene.
Get out.
So I'm like, when you throw me, just throw me, because I used to play sports, so you know how to fall when you play sports. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'll just fall on my left, take the brunt, and then just roll. So that's kind of what I did in that scene.
Okay.
I couldn't. Okay. You could have fooled me. There was no fucking way anybody's gonna ever notice that, because when you throw that punch, I'm like, I was even looking. I'm like, God damn, that dude got fucked up. That dude's knocked the fuck out.
Here's the other part, dude. I got to throw a punch within an inch of a guy's face. Who's the fucking baddest man walking on the planet? And my shoulder's not even attached. I'm like, I'm gonna hit this fucking dude. He's gonna fucking kill me. I got no chance. I got one arm. I'm like, I'm totally fucked right here.
It's funny because that jacket, I'm like, when you take that jacket off, and just like with CJ when he's got that big ass black trench coat, I'm like, these jackets are not light. Like, they have weight to them. And then you take the jacket off, and I look at his arms, I'm like, man, he's about to fuck that guy up.
Yeah. And then that Carhartt jacket is heavy as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah. That's why when you put it on the beginning, I'm like, well, he's about to go fuck somebody up without a doubt. And you take the shit off in the bar, I'm like, well, it's like weighted. So like, as you're walking through the bar, it's like you're just, all you're doing is working out with this fucking Carhartt, just on, like, I'm getting buff as I'm just sitting here having this beer. Your arms are just getting fucking buff, and he takes it off. I'm like, God damn, this dude's about to fuck this guy up. And then just
Dang.
One punch.
We should send the fucking video to Carhartt and ask for sponsorship.
Absolutely.
We can both have that. I have said that name more than I've ever said in my fucking life in this interview, without a doubt.
What else you got for me?
What? Oh, how much time you got? We're only a half hour into this, and
yeah.
Man.
I'm kind of interested in something that I heard in another interview where you were talking about possibly taking on or doing a project, like an original project, so that you could basically see it the whole way through and then maybe try to market it and then make some money off it. Because I know there's no money in Friday the 13th fan films, and I was curious, how far you've gone in that direction so far, and if that was something that was closer to being a reality.
Great question. So there's a movie I want to do called Laugh that I came up with. Okay. I haven't written it yet, but it's like here, and Terry Kaiser wants to play my father. Todd Jenkins, who's got 100-something credits, he's in War Horse, and they won a Golden Globe for, I forgot the name of the show, whatever. So he'd be like this evil character, and it's long story short, but it's in a world where clowns are the number one entertainment. So like we have the NFL football, and that's like number one. Well, this like championship every year is for entertainers, and for some reason, this like universe here, clowns are number one. And I'm a clown on one coast, the other guy's a clown on the other coast. Everyone thinks he's a great person, but he's actually horrible. And everybody's mad at me because I can't laugh because of something that happened earlier in my life. And so I could make it to the next level, but I can't laugh. And so much story. Have you ever seen True Romance?
Yes.
Okay, so Val Kilmer was his conscience as Elvis.
Okay.
The devil's going to be my conscience.
Oh my God.
This and just behind me all the time, just like lurking, and you'll see his face and shit like that. And there's a deal that has gone down. Someone traded their soul, and everything will like come to a conclusion at the end. So I just got to fucking finish this shit with Roseblood, and then like maybe a month or two, sit down, clear my mind, and then just start to write. I already have the bullet points of what I want to achieve, and so on. So it's going to be really hard. You want to talk about being nervous? I'm really nervous about that because people are like, well, your first time directing and writing, you did good with Rosebud. Yeah, it's fucking easy. I've been studying this shit 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Now it's just come up with your own. But then they're like, yeah, but you came up with Rose. So I'm like, yeah, maybe. We'll see.
I have absolutely no doubt. I mean, seriously, don't sell yourself short. It doesn't matter.
The creative element is there, and from what we've seen so far, I think with the creations that you made to add to a story that was already existing, I think you can pull it off. I mean, I have faith. I'll look for it. I mean, you can share your journey with us. I'd love to see some, to know where you are in this process and how it's going, and if there's any fundraisers that we can help try to promote for you. That'd be super cool.
Dude, you have to understand, like you are a very big like part of our group. Like with the Friday the 13th franchise, everybody, will stop and dead in their tracks and be like, Friday the 13th, a fan film, and we've, like I said, we did an episode on it, and watching yours, I mean, they're just a step above the rest. That's why, like you saying, if you went out on your own with something different, man, I would have zero doubt that you could make something work. It wouldn't have to be Friday the 13th. So I hope you make a shit ton of movies other than Friday the 13th, because just to prove that you're original, you can do it, and you can do it. And I know you can do it. And it's going to be fucking awesome to see what you do.
You're fucking awesome, bro. You're on my Christmas list now.
I don't want nothing. This interview is all I need. And I just want to see this.
Where are you guys out of? Do you guys go to conventions at all?
We do a little bit. Yeah. Don's in Virginia. He's down around Winchester, and I'm in South Central Pennsylvania. So I mean,
you're close.
We're not
Brooks
too far.
Was at Tide Hot THC? Wasn't that close to you guys? Tide Hot Water Convention.
Yeah. We went to. I think you went to. You did Monster Mania when it was in Cherry Hill, right?
I always do Monster Mania. Yeah.
Yeah. You were there last time.
Jason was in a Gettysburg one too. Jason Brooks.
I missed that one too.
Man,
I was at Gettysburg last year, and that's where I got to meet Caroline Williams from Texas Chainsaw 2.
Yeah.
Was he there that time?
He's probably the year before.
Okay.
Yeah, we go out every once in a while. We're about
you guys got to go to Monster Mania, dude.
Oh, we went to the one that was in Cherry Hill. We're going to Carolina Fear Fest here in the end of May.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yep. So
what about August Monster Mania? Not gonna happen, New Jersey?
I'm gonna do it.
I think I'm going because
I'm gonna be there.
Oh,
and every Friday night at the bar. Shots on me, bro.
Let me go ahead and buy those tickets right fucking now.
I'm going to write that down. I'm going.
Yeah, so we'll get crazy. We got the back booth usually, and we get nutty there, and it's pretty good. Dude. Like there's so many people down there, like guys from Bloody Disgusting and stuff like that. It's a good time.
Oh, we're in. We're in. I mean, just to meet you like face to face, that would just be.
No, I can't say no to that. It's happening.
If I said no to that right now, again, I don't need my membership on this fucking podcast to drop. I'm gonna say yes, and everybody that's in the area should come out because man, that just sounds like a fun ass time for sure.
Kelly Ellison will be there. Sanchez.
Ooh, nice.
I'm in.
Nice.
Oh my god,
she's good on the eyes, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
I call her all the time. I text her. I'm like, "You 6 foot bitch," because she's fucking 6 feet with her socks on. I'm like, Jesus Christ,
that's insanity. Like,
and
I've never been like face to face with a chick. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, she's fucking tall as hell. And I remember some of the Fast Team members. My buddy Brolick, I grew up with him, the big Jack guy. Yeah. And I'm like, Kelly's gonna be there. How tall is she? I'm like, she's like 6 foot with nothing on. He's like, fuck. I'm like, that's all right. We just won't put her next to you.
We'll just have her kneel down a little bit. Be 5'7".
Yeah, and bringing that up, the Weed Whacker was awesome, and that shot on the floor, man, that was so cool.
So let's get into that, dude. I think that cost for that shot over $6,000 because we had to fly her first class because that's what we do. We're good. We fly her first class from Texas to Seattle. We body casted her, whole body, crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah, holy shit.
And then had her stay, flew her back. The cost of the casting, the molding. Then we had to get the plexiglass floor. They're $900 each part, so $1,800. Cut the floor, labor, chain it up, have Amos Effects make the guts, buy the blood, get the machine pump, get a weed eater, retrocon it to make it look like it's from the 80s, and do all. It was like $6,000, and the thing fucked up, bro. We have it behind the scenes. Jason hits the weed eater with the body, and it's fucking bouncing, and we chained her. And
so she's flat as can be.
Yeah, and we had her like standing up, and the weed eater is bouncing off her, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" and this whole thing, like my whole life was like, "The weed eater, we're gonna fucking do the weed eater," and it was bouncing off. I was so pissed, and then finally, like we got the end. So that all that $6,000 was for that 1 second that you actually saw the blade. But the other shot is homage to 3 when the guy was doing the handstand with the plexiglass. And then the guts and the bullet drop is from The Crow. Remember The Crow? Fire it up. They drink the bullet.
I was gonna bring it up, but I'm like, oh, fuck. See, this is, and this is just the kind of shit that you do, man. This is what is amazing is that these homages that you do in these movies, it's absolute insanity.
Did I catch a Pulp Fiction in there with the briefcase?
I didn't purposely, but which one? Which part?
With the briefcase with the syringes in it. I swear the combination was 666.
666.
Yeah. And I remember that from Pulp Fiction. I didn't know if that was the inspiration for that.
That's supposed to be his soul.
Okay.
See?
In Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, Pulp Fiction, I always thought this, and I saw him on Howard Stern now that we're on Pulp Fiction. I always thought this. So if you go back and chronologically put the movie back together, it hops around in time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Bruce Willis keyed his car.
Holy fuck.
And he confirmed it on Howard Stern. Because you remember when he was in there to see what's his name, he says, "Aren't you a little punchy?" Remember at the bar calling him punchy because he was a boxer? Well, the next timeline, if you go back, was this, "Hey man, you be some fucking asshole keyed my car." Bruce Willis did it. Isn't that great?
That's fucking phenomenal.
Go back and look at that again.
I love shit like that.
I love it.
That is great.
That's so awesome. Man,
Bruce Willis would do it,
Yeah, oh well, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. God, gee, I love I love the Easter eggs and shit that people can figure out. I love that shit.
Yeah,
it's like, man, that's and again, it's attention to detail. I mean, if you watch Roseblood one time, like Clint said, you're gonna miss so much stuff. And then watching it, I mean, I watched the movie 4 times. And I'm still catching stuff. And,
I got another Duke one for you.
All right, go.
Okay. So when he's sitting there and they're like, "My fast team can stop everything," and he's like, "You want to bring what we just saw here?" And he's like, yeah. And he goes, I don't think so. Well, that's when the Duke, when they think that Jason's dead and he's behind the bush, and he goes, I don't think so. I tried to throw that in there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
and then best...
Michael, when he's in there, obviously the kitchen knife is Michael from The Room.
Yeah.
But the great thing is I purposely wrote this little line for Thomas Rivas, to say, he has no face. So at the time you think someone's face ripped off. But in my mind, there's like strobe lights going on. And if you saw Michael, he'd almost be a faceless apparition with no emotion. So that's why when you see Michael pop up later, we replay certain sayings. And one of them is, he has no face.
And I guess that's an
I did catch it the second time. It's super cool.
Shape. I mean, and that's why I love, going back to like 78, like, yeah, of course his name's Michael Myers, but he gets credited as the Shape.
I love that.
And it's like, he doesn't have any kind of, personality or anything. He's just the Shape. And that's what I got with that. Like, he has no face. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's just a blank slate.
Right. And so when they faced off at the end, Brent Edgett played Michael Myers, who played Jason in Fall Camp Blood. And I'm like, listen, we have to show the audience that you're like going to fight, but you don't talk and you're not emotional. So how are we going to do that? So I had to script it. I had to have Jason lose his machete by killing Tommy Lee Driver through the wall, but I had to have the machete still in the room. So, okay, it's on the other side of him. And then everything happens. And now Jason goes and gets his machete. Now I can give it back to him because it's hanging him in the body. I'd like figure that out. And he grabs it and then he looks. Well, Michael doesn't do any of that. So I was like, hey, Brent, can you take the knife and twirl it in your hand? And without looking, with the mask on. And if you look, he actually practiced it. He flipped it in his hand. And to me, that was Michael saying, I'm fucking ready.
Yep.
And then Jason grabbed the machete and then the rest was, I mean, people are like, oh, I wish you showed more. I'm like, dude, we were 21 hours into day 7. We had no time. We leave it open for a 2.
Yeah.
But
and that was a brutal effect, pulling the machete the whole way through the body.
Oh,
it was pretty crazy. You guys went all out on the practical effects on that. They were great looking.
It's insanity.
Thanks. Amos. I would envision them, but that doesn't mean anything. Amos effects, probably 70%, and Jason Brooks and Brent Edgett did a bunch of stuff too. Really helped out. That Caban face pull was fucking awesome.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was insane.
That's fucking absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, that dude just got his fucking face ripped off. Like,
Yeah.
Jason's never done that before.
Did you know that? I'll send you the video. Did you know that Brent Edgett, he played the lab tech that gets killed through the door?
Okay.
Do you know what that kill is from and what I homaged it? No. It's from when Maddie lost her earrings in part 7.
Oh,
so Maddie goes into a barn. There's a blue storm occurring behind Jason. So the right side where Jason is blue. She's on the other side. I have a video where if you put them exactly 1 minute together, which I did, they match exact scene for scene. And instead of the sickle, I wanted the other one through. So that's what that was. That's an homage to Maddie hiding in the barn with the blue storm.
I remember that scene.
I remember that scene 100%. Yeah. I didn't, man, gosh. Dude, you're a fucking genius. I mean, you were a genius.
I just care a lot. That's all.
Yeah. And this is not attached to a question. I just wanted to throw it out there that I think some of the best lines I heard in the movie was when the Duke and the janitor were actually talking and playing a game at the table.
Yeah.
He's like, you need to grow a pair of cojones. He's like, what you need to grow is
you need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Even your character was like, when you go and talk to the Duke, it's like, damn, like this is shit. Somebody's about to get fucked up here? Like,
yeah. I'm just gonna start randomly shouting, "Have you lost your pinata?"
Yeah, right. Have you lost your pinata? I'm gonna fucking roll my window down half time I'm driving to say it. You lost your pinata.
The Duke one, those 2 scenes. So I'm writing, right? So I have like a chart. I need 1 scene to make sure that the general's a dick. I need 3 scenes to make the Duke likable. I need, all these kind of things. I need a scene to make the Duke defiant. I need to make the doctor be an in-betweener. I need the general to be an asshole. Well, I'll put it all in 1 scene. I'll have the general be an asshole. I'll have the Duke mouth off. I'll have the Sykes be in the middle of it. So that's like, it kind of showed it all. If you think about it, the general has no mean interactions with anybody really throughout the whole movie.
That's true.
Except that one. That was the defining part of the general. And then you said like the Duke and Julian, I needed a scene where it showed their bond and their friendship. So when he dies later on, I'll always be your friend. I needed you to know that they cared about each other. So that's where that scene came. And he called them out. And that was actually the deciding factor of the Duke to save Tina. He's like, I thought you're an Indian. I thought you're proud. And that, the Duke looks at his wall and his heritage and he's like, fuck yeah. By the way, on the wall, was bounty hunter stuff because he's going to become a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
God, man,
it's so intricate.
You can, and you know what's really funny, and I don't know if anybody's thought about this or anybody's ever brought it up, but think about it like this too. So you had that interaction, that relationship with the Duke and the janitor, and it was almost like how Halloween was, Rob Zombie's with Danny Trejo and Michael Myers.
That's how I wrote it. Joe Caban, who played him, he goes, "How do you want me to be?" I said, "I want you to be lovable like Danny Trejo and Michael Myers. Like that's how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be the lovable janitor. You might have had a little past to you. You're from a bad country, whatever." I go, "That's how I want you to do it." And that's how he did. And Joe became so much more lovable. I mean, so many people, like when he died, we watched we were at the premiere and stuff. People were like, "No, they didn't want him to die," which means like we did good,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just watching, like,
that's great.
It's like Danny Trejo from Halloween, like,
yeah,
just that lovable person you don't want to die. And when he dies, it's like, really? What?
Yeah. And the other way of showing him being a victim to a degree and Fastine being assholes is when Brolick shoulders him. It's kind of like, these are the dicks and here's the good guy. We put the line, here's the assholes and here's the good guy. Like immediately I tried to like sneak that in there. So it's hard to like develop these things, but I try to find scenes to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, I love the special effects too. Like they're so in depth, but like with yours, all you had to do was keep your head one way
up
and everything was right there in the tube and just
don't.
And it was so effective. Like, just don't turn your head or everything. If you even moved, the shit was going to fall out without a doubt.
It was going to fall. Yeah, it was okay to go like this, but I couldn't go more than like 10 degrees up. It was because the eyeball would start to slide out.
Oh yeah,
I had to be like this, which is perfect because Brooks is fucking 6'5", and then his shit on, he's like 6'7", 6'8". So it worked out pretty good. But how about Strang's hand, the Amos brothers with the animatronics? Oh dude,
that was so good looking.
Did a phenomenal job with that.
Those dude, they're brothers and they just know how to fucking work, man. It's like I think they can read each other's minds. Like we know what's going to work, we know it's going to look good.
And they never did. So imagine me, like I wrote everything. I'm like, oh, this is what we're gonna fucking do. I'm like, the suitcase is on his fucking hand, so he's gonna pull it and he's gonna deglove him. And then I want him to look at his hand, and I want blood spurting and tendons. Yeah, it's fucking easy to say, but yeah. I could do it, man. I could do it.
Make it happen. That's awesome.
Made that thing.
That's what's so great about it. Is like, all I can think is like you doing it, like you're just saying it, and like do it, and then it happens. I'm like, I know that wasn't easy in any way, shape, or form.
No. And then my buddy Strang, he's from Connecticut too, where I'm from. Him screaming like that was funny as hell, like a little girl. And then the end right there, that's Jason Brooks. We had the little hand, we like held it up in front of his hand. Well, that is his head is actually a watermelon filled with guts and blood. So that's what that trick is when he's hitting it.
Wow. That's so cool. That's a throwback to holy shit.
Yeah, that's
so like Toxic Avenger.
Yeah,
that sounds like what they did in that where they ran over the kid,
big blood and shit.
Yeah. Fuck, that's cool.
So one thing I want to, and I don't know if you can help with this. So we have our interview with Jason Brooks coming up, and he's already said I'm not giving any spoilers for Vengeance 2.
He won't.
And I'm like, please don't. I want to be as surprised as everyone else. So I think this is the first time, especially with a fan film. So Vengeance took place after part 6.
30 years after 6.
And then it's another continuation of that story.
So I'll give you something. He probably won't like it, but you remember the end of 1 where Elias is in front of the fire and he pulls out it starts right there.
Nice.
Oh.
So
the last scene
where he's there and Jason's behind him.
Yes. And you almost think, well, what the fuck's Jason going to fight him or what the hell's going on? Picks up right there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
damn, that's all you're going to give us?
I'll tell you the truth, man. And this is not me saying it because I'm part of it. There's parts of Vengeance 1 I didn't like. I didn't think the story was as strong as it could have been, but Jason wasn't involved. We weren't involved then and to the degree we are now. Part 2, Cody Newton, director of photography, and the coloring and the shots and the story and the surprises. I'm not lying. It's 10 times better than 1. It's the big dog.
That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. And
I look forward to it.
Just to make sure, because like looking at with the interviews and everything, so Vengeance was the first one that you guys worked on, you and Jason.
I didn't even work on that one. I just did The Prisoner, but then I started marketing.
Okay.
So I was the guy that ran all the sites and did all that, but I had nothing to do with shooting the scenes or writing or anything to do with that. And then after, like, you kind of earn your trust. And then after 2, Jeremy Brown moved all the way back to South Dakota, North Dakota, and he told Jason, "Hey man, here you go." He gave him like the reins. Here's the site, and do part 2 because I'm kind of retired, I guess.
Right.
So then Jason started it from there, and then I had a lot more input on ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was just looking at like the chronological. So like Vengeance, and then Roseblood, Fall of Camp Blood, Vengeance 2. So is that how it goes, or is it?
No, Fall of Camp Blood was 3 years ago.
That's what I figured. I was like, I was like, yeah, that makes sense now, because I'm looking at the interviews and you talk about it, and I'm like,
and
I
the
know
beard
just premiered. I'm like, is that how it goes?
Yeah, it took the 3 years for them to put it all together. I mean, Riley Lorden, the director, was 22 fucking years old when he started that. He's only 25 now.
Wow,
that's insane. It's unreal. It's unbelievable.
Got a long way to go.
Yeah, that's what's sad.
And if he's starting there,
like,
I mean,
I'm scared to death to figure out what else you're going to come up with. And this, so here's another question for you. And hopefully, we're trying to get good questions. We don't want to like repeat anything anybody else has said.
Yeah.
So, other than Friday the 13th, have you ever thought of diving into another one of these major horror franchises, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, or is Jason your forte?
Jason's the forte. I mean, as far at this point now, like the fan films, I've spent $80,000 of my own money between all the Vengeances and the Roseblood. So, yeah, not fun. So at this point, I want to do the Amazon one, try to make money, see if I could actually have success there. But I mean, if don't get me wrong, if an actual studio one ever wanted to pay me for it, hell yeah, I would love to do it. I got Michael as number 2 for me. Yeah, and people forget Michael wasn't the crazy creative killer like Jason was until the last few. He wasn't like that because they didn't have Tom Savini. Tom Savini kind of set that whole mold that way.
Yeah, you're right on that. I was just
what you guys think of Halloween Kills?
Well, there's people split on that one. I actually really liked it. So
I mean, I think probably the best portrayal of a Michael, brutal wise, ever, the best kills ever, all that stuff like that. Story, holy shit.
I think it was a train wreck.
The train wreck. The evil dies tonight. Laurie's a throwaway character.
At this point,
they didn't focus on her hardly at all.
What the fuck is different? Nothing.
Yeah, she spent the whole night in the hospital, just like Halloween 2.
And they don't know who Michael is. They think it's the fat, ugly penguin-looking fox.
And
then he somehow evades the entire fucking hospital. He's like fat and like 65, and
I'm going
nobody
to
can
drive
catch
to
him.
Connecticut right now.
The only thing
I'm going to kiss you on this interview. I'm like, Clint, hold this down for at least
hysteria.
8 hours. That is the only thing that I've ever said.
With the mob mentality, and they're like,
whether political.
It was like, and Clint has said that numerous times whenever we bring it up, is that it was like, it was the time, it was what can we pull from society that we can throw into the movie? And it was just that. It was like that mob mentality. It was the whole, the Capitol rush and everything like that, and the way that everything was portrayed. And Peter, you said it 1000% the way that I say it. It's like, you motherfuckers don't know who Michael Myers is. You sat here and you've said, Anthony Michael Hall is in a bar and like, hey, this is why we're doing this, because it's the anniversary of everything that Michael did. And, Michael has had his effect on this entire town, but you don't know what the motherfucker looks like. And then they have this report. It's on a TV.
Yes. The pictures were on the TV.
It's like, you don't. So the motherfucker, like you said, looks like the penguin. Probably is not Michael Myers.
Right.
And Clint has said it numerous times. We both agreed. There's 2 things you had to do. One of them, the TV. Have everybody look at the TV and then go, oh shit, that's not Michael Myers. That would have cured that whole fucking movie.
Right. The sheriff is a throwaway character.
Yeah, it's a security guard.
The evil dies tonight. It's just so stupid. I can't believe that was it could have been like the perfect movie.
If you buy the director's cut, you'll be really
I watched it.
Disappointed because they say evil dies tonight at least 21 more times, and that's why they had to charge you $10 more. How
about the fucking girl with the iron?
That was hilarious. I didn't notice it until somebody pointed it out later.
How the fuck could you make a movie? And I did props and weapons master and all that shit. And you're like, oh yeah, Mary from fucking down the road is going to come out with her iron to fight a monster, the boogeyman. That's
such a 1950s, approach to that character.
That was real. I mean,
who the fuck would come out with that?
Someone bought the iron. They cleaned it. She was in makeup. They came out with it. Okay, you're gonna stand.
It was completely clean. Like
clean. Yeah, you're gonna stand right here. Nobody. I'd be the extra on set. Like, you fucking serious right now, Joe? You fucking serious with this fucking shit?
Yeah.
You know, holy cow.
It's okay if you're in the background, like way back, you know.
Yeah, be like having
where
iron
maybe
up
nobody
here,
will see
was
it
at the forefront. Like, can we back her up at least like 20 fucking people so this doesn't look so goddamn corny that people are gonna go, she's got the cleanest iron in history, and she's gonna come out here and go, yeah, let's fuck him up, dude. You just watch this dude get annihilated by bullets, bats, everything, and you're gonna come out with your iron. I'm pretty sure you're fucked so by.
And it's the Midwest, and all the other Halloweens, they were like redneck town almost. And nobody's got an AR. No one's got nothing.
Where's that?
One handgun.
Right.
Yeah.
It did kind of like what they did with the mask, where it seemed like he gained some type of power, like it was charmed, you know, like because she ripped it off and walked away with it. He like I use this analogy all the time. He followed it like he was a toddler. Like he just kind of like hobbled after it, you know, and before he got attacked, he made sure to pick it up and put it back on. And it's like, it completely disagrees with my idea of Michael Myers, but I do like what they did with it. They did look cool.
For the first time, definitively, they made him superhuman. To be shot 6 times and then she buries the knife in his fucking head and he gets up. I mean, he's now superhuman. He's no longer normal. And she basically says that. She's narrating as that's happening.
It's because it's Stonehenge and it's really going to be a silver shamrock mask. I'm
always scared the shit out of me when I was little.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. You know what else scared the shit out of me that people make fun of me? In part 4, I got part 4 over here. Ted White signed the buck knife and everything. To part 4, when Rob, he's killing me. When I was little, man, that scared the fuck out of me. And now everyone's laughing. I was like, it's not. I'm like, the guy is like admitting that he's dying during death. It's fucking. It like crossed a barrier for me that I didn't understand when I was little. I was scared to go in the basement. I was scared of gardening hose. I wasn't scared of hose, but I was scared of any other gardening fucking thing after that.
Like me and my wife were like, we watched it recently because we got the whole box set, and I'm like, I turned it up. I'm like, I want you to listen to this because my wife was like, what does he say? Because like we always listen to it on low shit so we can talk back and forth. I'm like, I'm gonna turn this movie way up, and he's getting nailed, and he's just going, "You're killing me! You're killing me!" And she goes, "That's fucked up." Like he's admitting that he's getting wrecked right now. I'm like, dude, that's more terrifying when somebody just gets it and dies. Like he's admitting that it's slowly happening, and even with you doing what you do, like a gardening hoe, like that's not gonna kill somebody immediately.
Hey. Fall Camp Blood. I look at the wall. You see Rob and Sandra. They didn't fucking zoom in enough. Upper left, the gardening tool.
Oh.
You see the bottom of it in green. We found one and we put it on the wall, but the way Riley shot it is it gets cut off. So if you look, when I look at the board on the upper left, that weapon that killed Rob is there.
Get out.
That's
That's cool. More detail.
I hate it because I'm like
that so much.
I watch these, so I've already seen Fall of Camp Blood 3 times since it's premiered.
Which was just Friday.
I still miss shit. I hate it. I hate that. And then he comes on, you're like, the gardening tool was up there, but they cut it off.
Well, so now we got something to look for, don't we?
Damn right. So here's one thing. So like all your movies. So, and I don't know if they are, if they are, I want to buy them. Are any of these available on Blu-ray that has these deleted scenes or these extras, or is that something that is in the making? Or
Vengeance Blu-ray's been out forever, DVD and VHS.
I'm gonna buy that shit.
Get back with me later. I'll see if Brooks has some extra ones. And then Vengeance 2, I think he sold the set of 1 and 2 together, and there is behind the scenes. Our Roseblood behind the scenes is like we're really trying to. It's a whole nother disc.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
it should be.
So that we already did the campaign for that, but hit me up on that because I'm going to order extra because so many people are asking about it.
Oh, dude, behind the scenes, I would just want, I don't even give a shit about the movie because I watched the movie like 30 times. I just want the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh,
like,
dude,
what you've talked about.
Terry Kaiser fucks up in a line. It's so funny. It kind of made us realize they're human. Terry Kaiser comes in, he's like, I'm just going to shit, fuck, damn it, do it again. And we all just started laughing, dude,
Like, dude,
no, we're gonna check that out.
You're a staple here, and you fucked up. And that's what's so great you saying that is that Laura Park Lincoln and Kevin being in it and Terry being in it. I mean, they're staples in that the Part 7 world, and they're just people. Like
they're just people.
And the fact that you got involved with them and brought them to Roseblood. It's just I'm so jealous of it because I'm like, man, how did you get in contact with them? Did you just hit them up, or did obviously you probably had connections on that one, I would imagine.
I didn't on that one. First of all, Kevin Spears is 60 years old, dude, doing slides down the hall. I told him, I go, you're the prettiest guy or girl on set still, dude, and you're 60.
I can't lie. I screenshot it, was like, I'll come back to this later.
Yeah. So come back later. So Lar, I wrote the script without either Lar or Terry in it, right? It was just the flashback. I mean, just the whole story of Tina a year later. Then I was like, somebody's like, hey, why don't you hit up Lar? I'm like, she's never gonna, how am I gonna get her? Somebody gave me her email, a fan that knew her, and hit her up, and then she's like, call me. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then I called her. I didn't have the part written because I didn't think she'd say yeah or even be in the film. So she's like, I'll think about it. And I was like, holy shit. She's like, why don't you come up with something? One day came up with the whole thing. And then when the way I shot it is in my brain, you would just see somebody from their chest to their pants walking around the room, which would be the doctor, but you'd never see him. You know what I'm saying? Because it was in her head, so it'd make more sense. Then when she liked the script so much, she said it was the best script she's seen for part 8 in her life. I'm like, what? So then she said, let's call Terry Kaiser. I said, you think so? She was like, texted him, he wants you to call him. Called him.
Fuck.
Ran it by him. He says yes. And then 2 days later, she goes, Terry, call Kevin. Call Kevin. He says yes. So it went from, dude, I was in this room in my underwear with like, in 3 days, I wrote a script. And then 2 days later, the entire cast of 7 was back. And that's when it got real big. And that's when I was like, oh shit, now we got to add a weed eater. We got to like take it to the next level kind of thing.
I feel like we deserve you to be in your underwear right now. You should probably no, I'm in my underwear. No, I mean, so, it's God, it's crazy. Like when I hit you up with, hey, I'd like to interview Lar, and do you ever think like, would she come back for another part with you if you hit her up?
She just went live last week and said she wants to do it too.
Cool. That'd be great.
I have the whole script written for 2. I don't want to feel like spending tens of thousands of dollars again. And the way
Jessica did a good job as Tina.
On something with no return.
Jessica was great as Tina. I love Jessica Hoffman as Tina.
I tell the story all the time. There was like 160 video submissions for that part. And as soon as I saw her with her eyes, if you go back and watch part 7, how many lines does Lar have? Not that many.
No.
It's all her eyes. So Jessica has those big blue eyes that just captivate you, that show so much emotion. I was like, that's her right there. And everyone's like, yeah, there's still more. I'm like, that's her. That's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll watch them, but she's
I did watch them. But I was like, that's her right there. The fact that she could just go from excited to scared to just with her eyes, just with the camera here, So that I needed that. And she said David McMahon as Dr. Sykes, he's probably the best actor besides the big 3 on set. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, right. No doubt.
Yeah.
I don't want to drag. I'm sorry. I said I don't want to drag it out too much further, but I wanted to ask one more question about Roseblood, and that was just to find out the scene with the glass breaking on the general's face. Was that written in like very quickly? Because I seem to recall you saying something about going on set and forgetting your eye patch. Was that like a patch scene to make that work?
Yeah. So the whole movie, I'm supposed to wear an eye patch. So the week before, 2 weeks before, I sent a skid from my house in Connecticut with every single prop labeled, matched, marked, everything. I had bins and I had label makers. I'm a real perfectionist. I wanted everything to be smooth. The fucking skid that I paid for a 5-day delivery for $2,000 didn't come 2 weeks later, because that's when like that COVID, like everything got held up on shipping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
God, fuck.
The worst. This was in March. That's like nuts. 1 year. Yeah. So I went to Seattle for 3 days and the skid never came. So what was going to happen was the general was going to have this bin with a drawer. General, Tina, Jessica, Duke, room A, room B, final scene, fights, props, everything was going to be in these, and they all stacked on each other. It was going to be like perfect in my mind. Perfect. Well, it didn't come. I fucking forgot that I have to wear a patch, and I couldn't find the patch. So then like halfway through, we're like going through shit, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, the fucking patch. So then I'm like, you know what? We need kind of it worked out. We need like a catalyst to get the general so pissed that he wants to do phase 2. So then we wrote that in, and that's a real that's a breakaway glass. Jason Brooks is off screen. I'm like, just throw it off my fucking eye, bro. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, can I get cut? He's like, maybe. I'm like, fuck it,
do it.
So he's offset and he's bang right off my eye. And then I have a sponge filled with blood. If you look, when I go like that, the blood shoots out. And then Sanaya, who's 15, 16 years old, I don't have a line. We did this 2 seconds. So I just start swearing like an idiot. Right there is her mother and father, who's my best friend, Sean, the executive producer.
Sean,
yeah. So I'm like, you fucking motherfucking bitches, fucking die, and then I get done. I'm like, sorry, man. And they're like, nah, it's all
right. I got her. She's gonna be coming on an interview after she's done with school after June 16th.
Oh yeah.
So I'm interested to talk with her because she's phenomenal in that movie too.
Yeah, sweetheart. I love when they have the conversation. They talk about how she did the same thing with the pearls, like she did with Alyssa. Yeah, I thought that was great too.
That's great. God, that's
people make fun of her because she never played Sonic before, so she's like fucking up the loops, and the people are like, oh, she's terrible. I'm like, she doesn't even know what the game is. Give her a break,
Right? Fuck, God.
Yeah.
That was super cool with all those old video game references. That was really awesome.
Definitely like, oh my God, it's fucking awesome. Like she's playing Sonic, and then I think
Super
Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I know about that shit.
So I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know how you juggle all this shit. I mean, you just said like you work in sales, so you got like a full-time job, and you're like doing this in your spare time. This is
after this, I go to watch the Celtics, and then I come back. I have the other interview, and then from probably 9 at night to 1 in the morning, I have to watch videos how to operate this robot that I have to do a presentation for 50 people in Chicago to Monday. So that's what I'll be doing, and then flying out, and then doing that, and then coming back and doing perks, and
wow.
Yeah, it's worth it though.
It's obviously it's something that you love. I mean, you wouldn't put that much time and passion into it if it wasn't. So I mean,
but I'm looking forward to a break. I lost like 35 pounds. I'm trying to get somewhat back in shape from the fat disaster I was. So
again, like when you're digging the fucking grave, I'm like, this dude, I don't want to see him dig a real hole because it'd be like fucking down to the goddamn core of Earth.
Dude, I couldn't even really dig because my shoulder's fucked. So like I'm like barely hitting it, and like we added in a lot of sounds because I'm like, doctor said the swinging thing's the worst thing. So
don't do that.
I can't fucking do it, But we sold the good. Oh, funny story on that. So somebody on set had dip. Well, I don't dip, So Riley's like, we want you to look with the light and whatever. I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be better if I had like a chew and then I did like an old timer spit? And he's like, yeah, do it. So he's like, we'll give you gum. I'm like, fuck gum, what the fuck? So I put the dip in there, dude. We did the scene like 7 times. If you notice, go back, watch the movie. I'm sweating my balls off.
Yes, I did notice that. I was like,
the
dude,
he's fucking world is spinning like a motherfucker, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't take the dip. And I do the spit, and I swallowed one. I did the spit. Dude, we got done. I was like, hey guys, like, you're good. I'm good. Got in the car, puking out the window the whole fucking way home. Oh, dude, I can't hack that. I can't hack the dip.
No, that should have made you lightheaded for sure.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, man, he just really pissed off. He just spits there. I'm like, now you tell me that. I'm like, fuck. I mean, that's the cool thing about like with everything that you've done is that it's taken to the next level. Like it's not just let's get by the skin of our pants. Let's make this better than it should be. And all 3 that I've seen, it is exactly there. Without a doubt. And me being just a horror fan, Friday fan, I mean, what you do is absolutely incredible. And when you posted that one thing on Facebook that I responded, when people were like, yeah, it must, when you're like, yeah, that must be nice to have this, that, and the other. Yeah, it must be nice to bust your balls for 29 hours and do what you do. And people don't understand it. And us doing this podcast, we understand it now. We really do. Like, you guys have a life, but it's so cut in half or cut in quarters that when someone says, well, that must be nice, yeah, come and wear one of my shoes, fuck both of them, wear one. Let me know how you feel.
So glad you said that, because once in a while a fan will, and I love the fans, but sometimes you feel like some of them are saying it facetiously. And they go, that must be nice. What nice? That I spent 80 grand, I maxed out 5 credit cards, that I tore my shoulder off. That what part is nice of that? Like, you don't get all that because you only see the happy. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So I get infuriated sometimes too, like that. I'm like, what do you think? I won a lottery? It's because I'm working over here,
And we appreciate,
we appreciate your struggles for sure.
I cannot tell you enough. I can't.
Thank you, man.
How appreciative I am to see you do what you do, and I fucking adore it. I love it. And
Monster Mania brought drinks.
Dude,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm buying my tickets right as soon as we get off here. I swear to God.
I'm gonna do it too.
And we don't want to keep you on here, Clint. You probably got one more thing.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that since we want to help promote you and get more people involved with what you're doing and make sure that this makes a little bit of sense for you to continue to keep doing it. I want you to. Is there a place where people can go to like get merchandise or follow your story and what you're doing and keep track of your projects, that type of thing?
I'm going to make a page for merchandise. I finally, so you said I don't have it yet though, but Peter Anthony Productions on YouTube, and then Peter Anthony on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And then, you can follow Roseblood or Vengeance on either one of those sites, Twitter, everything too. By the way, finally, I'll leave you with this. Do you see Jason Brooks' announcement of Steve Dash's grandson?
No.
What's coming?
Vengeance, it's out, so I could say it. So Vengeance 2, we were really tight with Steve and his family.
Sure.
And we actually had them at the premiere and everything. And I did the Steve Dash documentary. Did you ever see that?
Not yet, but I will.
Send us a fuck. We're
sorry, man.
So what Jason Brooks, this is all Jason Brooks, came up with this great idea of flying the entire family back. And Steve Dash's grandson, like his grandfather was his hero, and he loved them so much, and it really affected them, the loss of him for the family, which is understandable.
Sure.
Jason Brooks is like, you know what? We're going to film a scene where I won't give it away, but young Jason is there's a picture of him with the makeup on, all the forms. So Steve Dash Jr. with his whole family around the grandson sat in makeup chair and got put back in makeup as his father, as young Sack Jason. And we filmed it. And the entire family was crying and people were crying on set, and he posted it. Go to the Vengeance site and see it. Unbelievable.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
I will.
We can share that on the group then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's all over. He put it everywhere.
Good. Yeah. God,
well, I got emotional.
No, who wouldn't?
Yeah,
really.
If you didn't, I would.
If you understand the gravity what's taking place,
exactly.
And just Steve, like how much he promoted Vengeance. He's the one that came up with that whole moniker, more than the fan film. That was him, and his family and the sacrifices that he made. And he. So long story short, Steve was in the hospital. No one knew. They flew to Florida to film his scene as the sheriff. He removed himself from the hospital, never told anyone, filmed his scenes, went back to the hospital, and died a week later.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so it's like, man, what can we do more? So that was Jason, just phenomenal. What a full circle moment for the franchise and the family and for Vengeance. It's just so beautiful that like this only happens with fan films,
Yeah,
I was gonna say, and like I told you when I was messaging you, of course I would love to get these big profile stars and whatever, just to interview, just to find out, pick their brain and not even like talk about their movies, just find out what kind of people they are.
Yeah, what makes them tick? What drives them?
With you, it is on a completely different landscape because you're a real person. You haven't achieved what you want to achieve yet. You haven't hit that plateau, and you're humble about what you do. And then that's not to say nobody's not, because obviously everybody starts somewhere, but to talk to you compared to like Sean Cunningham or Steve Miner that was involved,
right?
You're more down to earth with what we do, with how we think. And it blows my mind to think of you've only been doing this for, the time that you say. And I'm just like, you just seem like a grizzled veteran, 20, 30 years. And the sad thing is I can't wait to see what you do 20, 30 years from now. It's fucking terrifying. It's scary. Like you're going to be a household name. And, I hope you understand that that's the main thing that we try to do with our podcast is we're so driven by this indie scene, and to have somebody like you that just, it encapsulates everything that a fan wants, and don't ever sell yourself short of what you do. You are an amazing person inside and outside of the production. And we want you to know that, and we love it, and we just want to follow you till the end. And I hope that end is 80 years
long time out.
Hopefully. Thank you guys so much. I
appreciate no problem. Thank you so much for getting together with us.
Yeah, man. God, you're just a great fucking person. And in Monster Mania, if I get to run into you, I'm hunting your ass down.
You are going to run into me. There's one bar at the end. Text me, call me, whatever the fuck. But I'll be there at the end with I go with my boy. He's a wrestling champion of the Northeast, and we have 2 rooms side by side. We go to all the after parties, dude. So we're on, dude.
Man, I can't thank you enough. And again, man, plug your shit one last time. Tell everybody all your movies, and then we will let you go do your thing.
Vengeance 1, Vengeance 2, Bloodlines, The Fall of Camp Blood, Friday 13th, Roseblood, and Peter Anthony. So if you just put Peter Anthony Productions on YouTube, or Peter Anthony on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, I think I'm just the Peter Anthony. You should find me. And I eventually am going to have a page when I have a minute to breathe, where I have a whole bunch of merchandise and stuff that I can sell. So we'll do that. Thanks again, man. You do these interviews, you never know what's going to happen. You guys are class acts. You did your research, and you empowered me today. So thank you very much.
You know what?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
That goes back to you, man. You got to understand that you empower us to do this. We wanted this to happen so bad, and when it did, when you came on, I saw your name, I'm like, it's fucking go time.
Here it is.
He's here. Let's do it. And man, you are just a great human being for everything that you do. And and it's no bullshit. We appreciate what you do, and man, just good luck with everything that you do. And honestly, once Vengeance comes out, Vengeance 2, man, let's get together again. Let's let everybody know about that shit, because your stuff needs to be seen.
Dude, when Vengeance 2 comes out, let's get me, Brooks, and Sanaya, and get a whole little crew in the interview.
That sounds great.
We'll get CJ too.
Let's do it, baby.
That sounds great.
Guys, Peter Anthony, thank you so much. This dude is a fucking class act. You need to follow him. Do what you need to do. Watch his movies. He just gave you the list. He's just a great guy, and we can't thank him enough for being on this interview again, sir. I know you got a busy schedule. We don't want to keep you anymore.
Go Celtics.
Go Celtics. Thank you, man. Again, good luck to you, and we'll speak again soon.
See you guys, man. Thanks.
Yep.
All right,
Take
man.
care. Thanks.
Absolutely.